What's up, guys? James AV here, and if you're watching this video, you've got Human Resource Management 381, HR 381 with me. This is the online version of the class, so I've got a handful of videos that either introduce assignments or introduce me and stuff like that. This one is just really about the class, so we're going to walk through it and get a rough idea of what's here, schedule, timeline, assignments, my expectations, and how to get a hold of me, questions, stuff like that. So we'll roll through it here, and I'll show you different aspects on Canvas that'll be helpful. In sum, this class is really just about managing people, hence human resources. So you have some classes that are about how to manage money, or sales and marketing, or supply chain and logistics. HR kind of weaves across all of them because all of those are done by humans for the most part. Of course, growth and exciting stuff in robotics and AI created by humans. So this is about how to hire people, how to fire people, how to train people, how to manage their performance. It's about things like retention and turnover, talent acquisition, all the way down to some nitty-gritty of jobs and job analysis, and kind of how do we design jobs that help people flourish, and how do we make sure we get the right people in the job, stuff like that. So you'll see it as we go through and I introduce it. But this is got a little bit of leadership, got a little bit of what's called organizational behavior, all in the context of business and of law. So this really applies to any organization, even outside of business. But certainly we spend quite a bit of time looking at the legal context as well, and 950 different ways you can get sued. So pretty fun. All right, just looking at Canvas here. This is for online winter 2025, but I mean, you can substitute in if you're taking this, over the summer or something different. I use pretty much the same model. My name, my email. I'm on email a lot, just like everybody else, so that's pretty quick. If you send me an email and you don't get a response in 24 hours, I didn't get the email. So it's always in front of me, and I'll at least say, hey, let's jump on Zoom, or shoot me a text or whatever. That's my phone number right there, and easy way to get a hold of me. It'll roll straight through to my cell phone. If that happens, if you just like, hey, something went wrong on Canvas or whatever, just give me a call, and I probably won't answer it unless I know you, meaning your contact is in my phone. Just leave a voicemail. Just say, hey, I'm in your class, question, whatever it is. My office is on the third floor of Shaw Smize. I know a lot of online folks are on the west side or scattered around the state, something like that. But if you're here, you'd rather hang out, I would totally rather hang out face to face. That's where I'm at. And if you're in Ellensburg, we can just meet there as well. So those are the simplest ways to get a hold of me. All right, if you scroll through the rest of the syllabus, give you a good idea about kind of where the course is headed. Some people like to know that in terms of course goals and stuff like that. I'm going to go down kind of where the rubber meets the road, the calendar and the schedule. We have a textbook. It's inclusive access. If you want to buy the full-on textbook, you can do that. Some people like to have paper copy in their hand, but a lot of people, it'll come built into Canvas, just under my textbooks there. Most people are familiar with that. Give me a call if you can't find that for whatever reason. So our schedule, this is a schedule for winter 25, but they're pretty much all laid out the same. You have what you're doing right now, course introduction, and then you'll have about 48 to 72 hours to do a pre-class quiz. So what that is all the quizzes are, it's an online class, right? And so all the quizzes are done through a thing called Respondus. Has its own browser, has its own webcam, all that kind of stuff. If you're like, no, I don't want to do the webcam thing, there are other sections of the course that don't require the webcam. So you probably want to swap out your classes. But otherwise, the idea of the pre-class quiz is just can you log in? Do you have the browser? And can you do a thing called an environmental scan? So if you've taken this before, you already know what I'm talking about. If it's new to you, it's not a great system. It is the system that we have at the university to help support, I won't say ensure academic integrity, but to help support it. The reason for that, and the reason why I take it seriously, is sometimes I'll grade, not often, but sometimes I'll grade quizzes on a curve. So if you have one or two people that are just blowing through, using notes, books, stuff like that, and they ace it, that really hoses everybody else because there's no way to curve that. If the environmental scan is done fine, and kind of you're focusing on the quiz, I'll talk about this a little bit later in another video, but nothing to worry about. So class introduction, pre-class quiz, just to make sure we got our bearings right, and then we'll start jumping into it. If you take quiz 1, after that, it's sort of rinse and repeat. It's almost all the same. Every quiz will be between 2 and 3 chapters. So you can see chapter 1, 2, and 3 here. And then we have our first quiz due, chapters 4 and 5, our next quiz due. And it's like that the entire time. Works its way through the textbook. Sometimes there's a lot. For instance, this week we're doing 3 chapters later on, and then sometimes it's just 1 chapter. Some chapters are bigger. You get the idea. But all quizzes are 30 questions or so. They're not a ton. Sometimes they're 35. Multiple choice. Again, I'll go through that in a different video. That's all we're going to do. We're going to start with chapter 1. We're going to work through it. On the right-hand side, the assignments, you'll see they become due a little ways into the quarter, and then they're just going to build on each other. Other different assignments at different times. But we're going to stick to this pretty much all the way. So I've got a little asterisk, that says we'll change based on course schedule and progress and stuff like that. That almost never happens. It's almost, we're going to follow this to the T all the way through the final exam, which is not cumulative. It's just over a couple of chapters. Okay, that's it. The biggest thing to do probably is to get into Canvas, to look at assignment dates, and make sure you kind of align your workload, your personal life, jobs accordingly, and just march our way through. There's book, there's lecture. To get all of the lectures, you just click over here on modules. Let's see if it comes up here. Okay, so module 1, each of these, here's the PowerPoint slides. It's just a big full deck that I go through. Those are great study guides, right? A lot of the stuff is definition. Every business discipline has its own language. HR has its own language, so it's helpful for those. For those that want to hear a lecture, some of these are old, some of them are new. So it really depends on, I'll make a lecture, and then if there's a change in law, or if there's a change in how the courts are interpreting law, something like that, then I'll need to update the lecture. So it's some of the stuff's 4 years old, some of the stuff is 4 weeks old. So it says video lecture, part 1 and 2, chapter 2, again, PowerPoint slides, access to the book, lecture, chapter 3. At the end of every module, you'll see this, really, really important. So if you're preparing for quizzes, keep in mind every quiz has a study guide. It's right here in the modules, and that follows pretty close to what's going to be on the quiz. Not perfect, but pretty close. And then you can access the quiz on the due date. A couple days before the due date would be optimal. That's it. There's 6 modules. Module 2, chapters 4 and 5, study guide and quiz. Module 3, chapters 6, 7, 8, study guide and quiz. So everything is available under modules. Some people like more course interaction. I'm down. I'm a face-to-face teacher as much as possible, but I know online kind of helps a lot of times people scheduling, or if they're remote from Ellensburg. But give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. We'll jump on Zoom, we'll work through it. My best times are usually Wednesday evenings or Thursday mornings, but we can figure it out. So go through this. Any questions, hit me up, and otherwise I'll see you in class. There'll be other videos in here that explain assignments and quizzes and stuff like that as well as we go.